Please be seated. When the hour came, Jesus and his apostles reclined at the table.
I have eagerly desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer. For I tell you, I will not eat it again until it finds fulfillment in the kingdom of God. Take this and divide it among you. For I tell you, I will not drink again from the fruit of the vine until the kingdom of God comes.
And he took bread, gave thanks, and broke it, and gave it to them.
This is my body given for you. Do this in remembrance of me.
In the same way, after the supper, he took the cup.
This cup is the new covenant in my blood, which is poured out for you. But the hand of him who is going to betray me is with mine on the table. The Son of Man will go as it has been decreed, but woe to that man who betrays him.
They began to question among themselves which of them it might be who would do this. A dispute also arose among them as to which of them was considered to be greatest.
The kings of the Gentiles lord it over them, and those who exercise authority over them call themselves benefactors. But you are not to be like that. Instead, the greatest among you should be like the youngest, and the one who rules like the one who serves. For who is greater, the one who is at the table or the one who serves? Is it not the one who is at the table? But I am among you as one who serves. You are those who have stood by me in my trials, and I confer on you a kingdom, just as my Father conferred one on me, so that you may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom and sit on thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Simon, Simon, Satan has asked to sift all of you as wheat, but I have prayed for you, Simon, that your faith may not fail. And when you have turned back, strengthen your brothers.
Lord, I am ready to go with you to prison and to death.
I tell you, Peter, before the rooster crows today, you will deny 3 times that you know me. When I sent you without purse, bag, or sandals, did you lack anything?
Nothing.
But now, if you have a purse, take it, and also a bag. And if you don't have a sword, sell your cloak and buy one. It is written, and he was numbered with the transgressors. And I tell you that this must be fulfilled in me. Yes, what is written about me is reaching its fulfillment.
See, Lord, here are 2 swords.
That's enough.
Jesus went out as usual to the Mount of Olives, and his disciples followed him.
Pray that you will not fall into temptation.
He withdrew about a stone's throw beyond them, knelt down, and prayed.
Father, if you are willing, take this cup from me, yet not my will, but yours be done.
An angel from heaven appeared to him and strengthened him. And being in anguish, he prayed more earnestly. And his sweat was like drops of blood falling to the ground. When he rose from prayer, he went back to the disciples and found them asleep, exhausted from sorrow.
Why are you sleeping? Get up and pray, so that you will not fall into temptation.
See, Lord, here are 2 swords. Lord, should we strike with our swords?
While he was speaking, a crowd came up, and a man who was called Judas, one of the 12, was leading them. He approached Jesus to kiss him.
Judas, are you betraying the Son of Man with a kiss?
And one of them struck the servant of the high priest, cutting off his right ear.
No more of this.
And he touched the man's ear and healed it.
Am I leading a rebellion that you have come with swords and clubs? Every day I was with you in the temple courts, and you did not lay a hand on me. But this is your hour when darkness reigns.
Then seizing him, they led him away and took him into the house of the high priest. Peter followed at a distance, and when some there had kindled a fire in the middle of the courtyard and had sat down together, Peter sat down with them. A servant girl saw him seated there in the firelight. She looked closely at him.
This man was with him.
Woman, I don't know him.
You are also one of them.
I'm not.
Certainly this fellow is with him, for he is a Galilean.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Just as he was speaking, a rooster crowed. Peter remembered the word the Lord had spoken to him. Before the rooster crows today, you will disown me 3 times. And he went outside and wept bitterly. The men who were guarding Jesus began mocking and beating him.
Professor, who hit you?
And they said many other insulting things to him. At daybreak, the council of the elders of the people, both the chief priests and the teachers of the law, met together. Jesus was led before them.
If you are the Messiah, tell us.
If I tell you, you will not believe me. And if I asked you, you would not answer. But from now on, the Son of Man will be seated at the right hand of the mighty God.
Are you then the Son of God?
You say that I am.
Why do you need any more testimony? We have heard it from his own lips.
Then the whole assembly rose and led him off to Pilate, and they began to accuse him.
We have found this man subverting our nation. He opposes payment of taxes to Caesar and claims to be Messiah, a king.
Are you the king of the Jews?
You have said so.
I find no basis for a charge against this man.
He stirs up the people all over Judea by his teaching. He started in Galilee, and now he has come all the way here.
On hearing this, Pilate asked if the man was a Galilean. When he learned that Jesus was under Herod's jurisdiction, he sent him to Herod, who was also in Jerusalem at the time. When Herod saw Jesus, he was greatly pleased, because for a long time he had been wanting to see him. From what he had heard about him, he hoped to see him perform a sign of some sort. He piled him with many questions, but Jesus gave him no answer. The chief priests and the teachers of the law were standing there, vehemently accusing him. When Herod and his soldiers ridiculed and mocked him, dressing him in an elegant robe, they sent him back to Pilate. That day, Herod and Pilate became friends. Before this, they were enemies. Pilate called together the chief priests, the rulers, and the people.
You brought me this man as one who is inciting the people to rebellion. I have examined him in your presence and have found no basis for your charges against him. Neither has Herod, for he sent him back to us. As you can see, he has done nothing to deserve death. Therefore, I will punish him and then release him.
Away with this man! Release Barabbas to us! Away with this man! Release Barabbas to us! Away with this man! Release Barabbas to us! Barabbas had been thrown into prison for an insurrection in the city and for murder. Wanting to release Jesus, Pilate appealed to them again, but they kept shouting, "Crucify him! Crucify him!"
Why? What crime has this man committed? I have found in him no ground for the death penalty. Therefore, I will have him punished and then release him.
But with loud shouts, they instantly demanded that he be crucified, and their shouts prevailed, so Pilate decided to grant their demand. He released the man who had been thrown into prison for insurrection and murder, the one they had asked for, and surrendered Jesus to their will. As the soldiers led him away, they seized Simon from Cyrene, who was on his way in from the country, and they put the cross on him and made him carry it behind Jesus. A large number of people followed him, including women who mourned and wailed for him.
Daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me. Weep for yourselves and for your children. For the time will come when you will say, "Blessed are the childless women." Then they will say to the mountains, "Fall on us," and to the hills, "Cover us." For if people do these things when the tree is green, what will happen when it is dry?
Two other men, both criminals, were also led out with him to be executed. When they came to the place called the Skull, they crucified him there, along with the criminals, one on his right, one on his left.
Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing.
And they divided up his clothes by casting lots. The people stood watching, and the rulers even sneered at him.
He saved others. Let him save himself, if he is the God's Messiah, the chosen one.
The soldiers also came up and mocked him. They offered him wine vinegar.
If you are the King of Jews, save yourself.
Aren't you the Messiah? Save yourself and us.
Don't you fear God, since you are under the same sentence? You are punished justly, for we are getting what our deeds deserve. But this man has done nothing wrong. Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom.
Truly, I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise.
It was now about noon, and darkness had come over the whole land until 3 p.m, for the sun stopped shining, and the curtain of the temple was torn into two.
Father, into your hands I commit my spirit.
When he had said this, he breathed his last.
Surely this was a righteous man.
When all the people who had gathered to witness the sight saw what took place, they beat their breasts and went away. But all those who knew him, including the woman who had followed him from Galilee, stood at a distance, watching these things. Now there was a man named Joseph, a member of the council, a good, upright man, who had not consented to their decision and action. He came from the Judean town of Arimathea, and he himself was waiting for the kingdom of God. Going to Pilate, he asked for Jesus' body. Then he took it down, wrapped it in linen cloth, and placed it in a tomb cut in the rock, one in which had not been laid. It was preparation day, and the Sabbath was about to begin. The woman who had come with Jesus from Galilee followed Joseph and saw the tomb and how his body was laid in it. They then went home and prepared spices and perfumes, but they rested on the Sabbath in obedience to the commandment.